Hey everyone, we're back at a racetrack for another racetrack video. We're here at Southern Iowa Speedway in Oskaloosa. If you've never been here, this is Terry McCall's event that he promotes called the Front Row Challenge here at Oskaloosa. Now, it's usually what it's really known for is a party that's on the infield, and obviously I think the catchphrase is party and a race broke out. So that's really the sort of theme. As I've gotten older, I came here when I was a kid and I really thought it was a big party, but maybe as I've gotten older it's kind of maybe been a little bit more basic. But yeah, it's an event that driver Terry McCall promotes for as long as, I mean, probably forever. He does a great job. He lets us in and to do our media thing. But yeah, a fun night here at Oskaloosa. James McFadden, the Aussie one, the guy we did a video earlier on today in the motorhome with him, which was pretty cool. The track was pretty fast tonight. Now the weather, because the weather was so wet yesterday, unfortunately the track was very fast. But we'll just go over some of the notes. Yeah, the track was just so fast tonight. About 110 410 cars are in Knoxville this week, and only not quite 40 cars came tonight. So a little bit odd that you wouldn't get more cars to turn up, but at the same time there is such a massive risk of tearing up your stuff that we saw a lot of people do. You'll see over here James McFadden's just pushing back to the pits. It's only maybe 20 minutes after the race is just finished and they're pushing back to the pits. Everyone's piling out. There's a few people that are intoxicated that'll be on the infield that I don't know how they're going to be leaving too quickly. Hopefully they got designated drivers, but yeah, so they're pushing back to the pits now. Everyone's loading up. I can see over in the pits that a lot of cars are, there's some fans waving. That's so cool. We love having fans in these sort of videos. It's something new that we're doing. That's so funny. Awesome. All right, yeah, so 110 410s in Knoxville, but not even half of them show up. As I say, there is this massive risk of Oskaloosa is not really known for passing, and the weather has made the track so fast. So when you're a big name, someone like Brad Sweet, David Gravel, Donnie Schatz, it's hard to imagine that you're going to get too much. See you later, guys. It's hard to imagine that you're going to get too much out of coming to Oskaloosa, possibly tearing up your race car. So we'll get into some of the events. It's weird, just before we get into that, it's weird that drivers want freedom to race other events like the Outlaws, and yet at the same time they then there's races that they don't show up to. So they obviously want to show up to the right races, I guess, and at the right time. So that's the way it goes. But yeah, getting into qualifying, two-car qualifying started at almost 8 p.m. Now it is, what's the time? It is 11:56, so almost midnight here. Just over 4 hours, or around 4 hours, to run the whole event. Yeah, so a bit of a late start, but hot laps was around 7 or something. Macedo got a quick time with a 15.3 second lap. Now he went out really late, and Larson was just as early on in the draw, and he was only a tenth and a half slower in third. So it goes to show you that the track was not going away at all, probably just cleaning up a little bit from hot laps. And Macedo was able to lay down a quick lap there at the end. Track not very wide. It wasn't last year when we came here. If you've seen the video we did last year, we were out here with the guy that owns Ultra Shield Race Parts, which is former World of Outlaws champion Darren Pittman. He was with the Hefner 27 car. We did a video with him last year at this event here at Oskaloosa. So if you haven't already, check out that video on our YouTube. And then we went out for heat races. Now the heat races were, it was almost dark by the time the heat races went out. Qualifying was mostly daylight, and then it started to get dark pretty quick here. As I said, we started only at 8 p.m. Could you imagine that back home in Australia, starting at 8 p.m? I don't think I could imagine that really happening. But anyway, that's what we've got here in America. I love it. That no matter what we end up racing. The heat races now, they were intense, as was the whole night, really. I love seeing the driver's eyes on the grid, the intensity. It's kind of like being locked into in the gates with the bull, when you see the bull riders. It's so intense, and that's really what the feeling is for the drivers. I miss it, but I don't know if I miss it. It's a nervous sort of intensity, exciting sort of feeling. So yeah, the heat races, the first one went to Ziafos. Ziafos won the first heat race. It's an invert, I think, of 6. So Macedo, who got quick time, he got up to 3rd place. McHugh got in a lap 2 crash. The Aussie McHugh. We'll go over the Aussies a little bit later on. Heat 2, Zeb Wise won that. Austin McCall, who ran 2nd in qualifying. He was 6th. 3rd heat, Casey Kane won that. Larson went 6th to 3rd. Now, Larson was fast. He was the one that decided to move up a groove and really carried a lot of momentum. That's what he does. Not surprised to see him in open air. Now, in open air, he did a 15.3 second lap time. Now, that was 0.8 quicker than any other driver that was in that heat race. So he got by whatever car it was for 3rd place, and then mowed down 1st and 2nd, 1st being Casey Kane, and they were doing 16.1 second lap times, and Larson was doing a 15.3. So it goes to show you how much speed he was carrying. Heat number 4, there was a big wreck at the start with Ryan Timms, Riley Goodnow, and Buddy Kofoid. That wrecked Buddy Kofoid's night. Aussie Dylan Buswell told me that that was the car that they were planning to run for the Nationals. That Roth 83 team loaded up after the heat races, and that was their night done. And McFadden, James McFadden, Aussie James McFadden, won in the other Roth 83 car for the heat races. Now, we'll just take a quick ad break and we'll be back with more. Do you want to attend the world's biggest sprint car races but don't know how? It's not that easy to organize, especially for your first time. A lot of people waste their time working out when and where to go, booking flights, accommodation, rental cars, tickets, trying not to miss anything. Well, you don't have to do any of that. Instead, let Global Speedway Tours take you on the trip of a lifetime. Whether you're an Aussie wanting to travel to the USA, or an American ready to see more of your own country, or finally make the trip down under, you have to do it with Global Speedway Tours. How do we know? Our very own cameraman, Matt Hollins, felt the same way you did before finally going on the ultimate trip with Pete and the crew from Global Speedway Tours. Since then, he hasn't looked back.
I went on my Global Speedway Tours trip in 2016. Everything was taken care of for me, so didn't have to worry about booking tickets or driving. Everything was all sorted for you, and the camaraderie was great. I definitely would go again. I know some of the people I went on before have actually been repeat customers, so it's definitely something you'd love to go to enjoy again. I'd highly recommend Global Speedway Tours to everyone else. It's the best way to travel, best way to experience the best sport. Everything's taken care of. You don't have any worries. Once you get on the plane, everything's taken care of for you. I think if I went on my own, I wouldn't have probably experienced the great things that we did do, particularly meeting people to talk to and exclusive workshops and things, and knowing where to go. Definitely going on the tour with him is the best way to go about it.
Stop worrying about the long flights. With different trip options available, you'll go to more races than you could dream of, do plenty of sightseeing, enjoy rare and exclusive experiences, and make lifelong friends. So what are you waiting for? Don't just watch it at home. Be there by booking your spot on an upcoming trip. Go to globalspeedwaytours.com.au today. Yeah, there's a cool little message from our sponsor, Global Speedway Tours. If you're wanting to go to these sort of races or back home where we're from in Australia, definitely check out Global Speedway Tours. The man who's holding the camera right now went on that same tour and he loved it, and since then he's kept coming back to the States. So yeah, definitely check those guys out. As you can see from the ground there, definitely plenty of rain around, lots of mud all around the racetrack, and as I said earlier, it's really made the racing quite difficult. That's why I'm not such a fan of the inverts like they had in the heat races, just because of the difficulty of passing. So you see some drivers starting a bit deeper than they should, but that's the way it goes. Now the good drivers missed out a little bit. One thing that I am a fan of though is Jason Myers. Now it might be a little bit odd to see him here. Who is he? He is the former two-time World of Outlaws champion. Really nice guy from California. He stepped away from the sport right after winning his couple of championships, and we ended up actually catching up with him out here in the pits, which was really cool. He's just bought in January. He's bought Sanders Engineering. We caught up for a chat with him, which was very nice of him. Here's what he had to say. Jason Myers, it's cool to see you here, man. What are you doing here?
Well, two things. I've got a race car that I own that Corey Day's driving, so I'm out here with him for the weekend.
Yep.
And then in January I bought Sander Engineering, and we're working on building that brand back up to its heyday and beyond. So here promoting our product and talking to teams and just kind of seeing who's interested in our product and what we can do for them.
Speaking of working with teams, I know you're pretty close with the Tartans and the Macedos. Are you still working at all with them and helping them out?
Yeah, I helped Carson specifically a lot when he was younger.
Yep.
So just become really good friends now more than anything, and there to cheer him on and offer what little bit of advice I might be to here and there. But he's come a long ways, and for the most part, he's teaching me some things now.
Yeah, and you get a good kick out of helping other drivers.
I do. I've enjoyed it. I really respect the people that gave me time when I was younger, and would answer questions that I had and give me advice, and so I really enjoy being able to do that for others. And not everybody's willing to listen, not everybody's looking for advice, but I really enjoy those that when they ask for advice they actually listen and they apply it. And Carson always did a great job of that, his brother Cole as well, and now Corey, getting to race with Corey. I've known him since he was a little kid, so getting to not only field a car but then offer what kind of coaching and stuff that I can, along with his dad Ronnie Day, to somebody that appreciates everything that you give him and really puts the work in to be great is a lot of fun. And I think I get to do that with my own kids, and then to get to do that with others I think that's one of the most enjoyable things there is to do in life.
Just last question before it gets loud here. You've probably been asked a bunch of times, but do you miss racing? It's a hard thing to step away from.
I get asked that a lot, and do I miss? I think that's about a 3 or 4 part question. Do I miss driving? No, I enjoyed it. I loved it. But I did it, and I moved on to other things, and I'm getting to do all the things I want to do with my kids now, and got a great company with some great people, and getting to do that. What you do miss is you miss all the people and the relationships that you had, and just the enjoyment of the sport. So my wife and I are getting to have the enjoyment of the sport through owning a car and watching Corey develop and being able to be a part of that. And now with the ownership of Sander Engineering, that really allows me to be back and kind of involved in the mechanical side of things that I enjoy, and being able to make better products for people and really being able to solve problems, which is what I enjoy doing. And when there's a need out there, we want to solve it and we want to provide it. So we're getting to do that with a legacy brand with a great man, Glenn Sander, who started the company. So I'm really getting to kind of fulfill all those things that I might miss through different avenues.
Yeah, really cool to catch up with former World of Outlaws champion Jason Myers. Very nice guy, speaks really well, and obviously very switched on. We were actually just walking into the pits thinking that this was Rusty Hickman's car, but it's actually another Aussie, Scott Boguski, who had a big wreck in turn 2 of the A-main, unfortunately. So not a great week for him after being disqualified in the 360 Nationals, and now a wreck here at Oskaloosa. Not what you want before Nationals start up in just a couple of days' time, but we'll get into the Aussies a little bit later on. For the B-main, I actually saw a vapor trail still for the B-main, which just goes to show you how fast that they're actually going here at Oskaloosa Southern Iowa Speedway. Just super fast for the B-main. It's not really enjoyable, I can say that. It's just, as much as I love this place and love this race, it's just not ideal, and unfortunately that was just the weather that they were dealt. Hickman wrecked at the start of the B-main. That's who we were looking for. Now his car was torn up big time. We saw that even the tethers broke on that car. That was on I think it started at the front straight right at the start-finish line and went into turn 1. Jamie Veal got caught up in that, and they had to change a left rear. I spoke to Luch Monty, the team owner there. He said they're not having too much fun. He just said he just can't get the feeling out of the car right now. But right after when the B-main was about to restart, we actually caught up with Rusty Hickman himself, and here's what he had to say.
It pretty much I was a little disappointed on our heat run. I mean, I thought top 5 transferred in the A. I didn't realise there was time trial points. Mm-hmm. So we're still a bit of a kick in the guts when we knew we were out of 9th in the B. So I thought we needed to keep going, and Goodnose was out. So all the boys on the bottom went, and they just dropped to the bottom, and then I seen a big opening, and I gassed it. And looking at the replay, I knew I got like a heap of left rear drive, and I drove out, and I knew Vealy was on the outside of me. I didn't want to just squeeze him to the wall. So the camera view is sort of like off the track, so it doesn't show you like directly down the straight. sort of like broke free a little bit to miss him, and then Cole would have probably not have been able to see me, but he was on the bottom and I thought I was clear. I just making a lot of noise back there, sorry. I just thought that, you know, we would have had a bit more. I thought I just had to really get going and move forward. So I seen the gap, I shoved it in. It's the risk you sort of take at these shows to move forward, and I thought Cole was going to stay on the bottom. He decided to just open his entry, which, as you do in these cars, and he wouldn't have known I was there, so no stress. It's just part of the race, and took a big dump, unfortunately.
And I was talking to your old man. You guys have got a little bit of gear over here. Do you guys leave all your stuff here every year?
Yeah. So between Janet and Dave, we've got a few cars. We've got one complete roller that's ready to just put the seat and motor in. So we're still good on that aspect. Although this J&J's is such a nice car, I don't like wrecking them. So, but this chassis is pretty junk, and it's done its job. So bit of a shame that one's wrecked. But yeah, we've got another car, so we'll still make nationals. We've got 2 days off. Went on to the second day, so we'll still make it for that.
Yeah, tough luck for Rusty Hickman, who wrecked in the B main. You know, it's really tough for Aussies to come over. Those guys, as he said, they leave their gear over here and come over every year. They make a massive effort to make all that work, but that's the way it went. And then on to the A main. Larson, unfortunately, probably the biggest disappointment of the night was Larson. Looked like he blew an engine early. The commentators seemed to think that he was going to the pits, going to the work area, and he just went straight to the pits. So that was his night done, and I'm sure a lot of fans, he gets the loudest applause. He actually, they said they finished the NASCAR race only 5 hours earlier, and he flew straight out here to Des Moines and drove out to Oskaloosa to race. So big effort by him to make it out here. Everyone loves him for that. Yeah, the track still wide open fast in the feature race. You know, they run mufflers over here, but you can probably see down there in Corey Day's car, the mufflers, that they kind of don't do anything, I don't think. But anyway, that's what they have to run. And in comparison, they had 305s tonight as the support class, and as 305s kind of sound like Australian 410s, kind of a little bit watered down from the main deal. We spoke about Scott Boguski, who crashed in turn 2. At that point in time, he actually had the 3rd quickest lap of the race, so a shame to see him done there. And then I also noticed that James McFadden, who we're pointing over right now, that's the winner right there that you would have seen on the front stretch. They're back here in the pits. He did a 16.0, 16 flat in the feature race. That was only 7/10 off of the quickest times in time trial. So just goes to show you that the track was really, really tacky all night. A bit narrow. Still a lot of fun, and it's a great event, but unfortunately that's just the racing we got. But on to the Aussies, just a quick rundown because of all of our Aussie fans. Lockie McHugh, he qualified 5th, nice job there. He crashed in Heat 1. He still finished, but position number 9. He ran up the back of the A. Jamie Veal, fantastic driver, but unfortunately just not having a lot of fun right now. Qualified 27th, 7th in Heat 3, and then got in a flat in the B, and he actually, I think, got up to 5th to finish, so not a bad job by him in the end. James McFadden, obviously, that we were watching right there, signing some autographs for fans. A little bit of a late night for him. He qualified 8th, won heat race number 4, obviously made the inversion work for him, and he won the foot race as well. Started off pole and got the start like he needed to do. We actually spoke to him a little bit later on as well. We'll get to that in a second. But Cody Morosky, another Aussie, qualified 31st, finished 8th in heat number 3 and pulled in the B main, wasn't running too well. And Scott Boguski qualified 4th, awesome job. He was the best Aussie in qualifying, finished 3rd in heat 4, and unfortunately just didn't work out for him. And Rusty Hickman, the worst qualifying Aussie, unfortunately, 32nd, 5th in heat 4, and then obviously that big wreck where they tore up a car at the start of the B main. So that's the way it goes. But we did manage to catch up with James McFadden after the big win. Here's what he had to say. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, mate, yeah. Wild. Man, I don't reckon I've driven a car that hard in a long time. You know, getting 4 above it like that at a place we're going ridiculously fast at. Sketchy, but the higher I got and the harder I drove it, the better my car got. So, yeah, pumped to get the job done. It's generally a place I struggle at. So, yeah, good momentum going into Knoxville.
Sure. Some drivers I've spoken with said this place feels faster than Knoxville.
Absolutely, it feels. I don't know.
it's just, I think you're constantly turning, so it's like the wing works better or something. You know, you don't go as straight for as long, and I think our cars go faster when we turn. So yeah, I don't know. It's fast. It gets your attention.
I'm guessing you knew you need to get the start.
Yeah, start was really important, and I was kind of worried about the start because it was kind of slick on the bottom there, and was able to get enough drive off the bottom to drive across his nose, and I think that was probably the key moment of the race. But my car was really good too. Like I could diamond 1 and 2, like kind of bounce into the fence and then drive down the track, and I felt like I make a lot of speed doing that. So who knows if I was running second, I would have been able to do that or not. But we got the win, and pumped to hold that belt up for sure.
You said how good your car was. Is that the car you can run for this?
No. This is a different car. It's actually the car we won most of our races with this year, and we crashed it and got it fixed, and weren't sure what it was going to be like. So it's going to be tough to know what car to run. I'm struggling a little bit with my brakes in this car, so I know my other car's got really good brakes, so that helps a lot at Knoxville. But yeah, I think we'll go back and have a think about it. And this was sort of the old shitter as we bought here, and it ends up being pretty fast. So Knoxville's a different beast, so we can't really do the same sort of stuff you do here as you do at Knoxville. So yeah, we'll go back, have a beer, chill out for a little bit, and get ready for Wednesday.
Yeah, nice win for James McFadden. Incredible job. A great way to start. As he said, Nationals week. He wasn't planning on running that car, but now he's thinking he doesn't mind this car. So nice big rig there. The 26 of Rudine Racing for Zeb Wise. They're actually about, they're 53 footers. At home we've got 48 footers, so 5 foot shorter, around about my height shorter, and they're actually a foot wider than back home. Obviously they've got wider roads over here, so teams fit a lot more in these rigs than they do back home. As you can see, if it's about 5 foot, that's almost the length of a chassis, so or a chassis, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, they definitely take a lot of gear, and a lot of the time they're on the road for 6 weeks to 2 months, so they don't have time to restock up. But there is the 41 of Carson Macedo, the Jason Johnson Racing deal. I think he's in for a really good shot this week. I'm excited to see what he does. We'll make sure we catch up with him for an interview, but for now, everyone's packing up, or they've left. It's been a fun night. I appreciate everyone watching. If you haven't already, check out sprinkerhub.com for your merchandise. We've got plenty of gear that you'll see. I'm kitted out in it, but we've just released new hoodies and t-shirts as well, so please, we'd love you guys to support what we're doing. It gets pretty expensive, to be honest, to make all this work. That's the best way to support us. Leave a comment, let us know what you thought, but for now, we're going to sign off, and we'll see you for the first night of the Knoxville Nationals.